Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time. I hope you're having a really great weekend, whatever you're having. I hope it's a good one. I know not everybody watches this on Saturday mornings, but if you are here Saturday mornings, then say hello in the chat down below. I usually pop right in when this goes live at 7 a.m. Eastern time. So, this has been a busy week. Last week, oh my word, last week I couldn't find anyone to go to the beach with me, and I was feeling all rejected and despair and gloomy and everything. And this week I'm like, Miss Popularity, social butterfly. I've had something going on every single day. So it's been wild. It's been fun, but it's been quite a week. So I've got material and it's really hot here. I mean, it's like, I don't know what the temperature is exactly, but they're saying it could be 90 today. And it's 1:42 in the afternoon on Friday when I'm recording this. And we have had a lot of rain and just gloomy, overcast days. This summer, we haven't had a lot of sunny days. So when you get those beautiful days like that, you kind of want to take advantage. But they kind of hit you a little off guard because you're used to just kind of like just soupy, damp, clammy, rainy weather, and then you get hit with like the heat. It's kind of like you're not used to it. So I have my hair up in a messy bun, and I've got a tip. And this occurred to me last night. I tried this out before we went out because we had tickets to go see David Sedaris. I'll talk about that later. You put your hair in a ponytail and then divide the hair in like 3 chunks, and then twist and wrap each chunk around and stab it with a bobby pin, and then you have a little more volume, and you still get that messy bun look, but it stays in place. And just because it's hot out doesn't mean you have to look like a hot mess, and that will stay. Like if it's rainy, because I went out last night, it was raining, so I'm like, I'm not doing my hair, and because it's just not going to last. So I did that. I'm like, oh, I kind of like that hairdo. I'm going to do that again for Sat Chat. So I wanted to share that tip with you because I think it's so easy. I never thought of it though. I'd always just take a claw clip and just twist my hair up and clip it. But this looks so much better, I think. I mean, it's not like I'm going to win a, hairdo prize or anything, but hey, it's hot and humid out, and my hair is somewhat okay. Yeah, so there is a tip for you if you have long hair and you want to put it up. Even if it's not long, my hair's not that long and I'm able to do that. So I have notes, I have a list, I have stuff going on. Oh, if you are in Critique Club, I'm working on the second tutorial for July in Critique Club. I know it is a little late, but I guess it's not late if it's still technically July. I've been doing World Watercolor Month all month. I will do a flip through. I don't know if I'll do a live or recorded, but I will do a flip through of this sketchbook on August 1st or 2nd. And then you can see all the different pieces that I did together, or you can go to Instagram and you can see every picture as I did it each day. But this one, the background's still kind of drying. I don't want to say just started it, but I've been working on it. But this for the prompt of time, and I started off drawing Big Ben, and then I'm like, this kind of looks a little sinister. So then I decided to lean into the sinister and make it kind of like Halloween-y with bats and stuff. And then I was racking my brain. Do you remember in the season of Doctor Who, where Chris Eccleston was a doctor, John Barrowman what was his job? He was like, he had a watch that could make him time travel. He had some official job though, I can't remember it. And then he was in Torchwood, which was such a great show. But I'm like, it's been racking my brain. It's like, what was his job? He was a time something. He could go back in time and go forward in time. I can't remember, but so then I was thinking of that show, and then I was thinking of I should put a big moon and some bats behind it, and I'm like, I think I'm going to lean into this and have it kind of Halloween-y. So anyway, that's where that's going. I'm not done yet, but by the time Sat Chat comes up, that should be up in Critique Club. If you've been like desperately waiting for the next lesson in Critique Club, it's coming. It's up. It should be up right now, hopefully. Oh, and I also want to talk about the Michaels class. So thank you guys so much for letting me know if you could sign up for the Michaels class, the free class next month, and letting me know what country you're from if you haven't been able to sign up, because I have given all the information on Michaels. Apparently, there's been some sort of restriction to non-US addresses, and they haven't been able to access the site or sign up. So currently, it seems that only folks within the United States can sign up for the class. But if something changes, I will let you know on Sat Chat, or you can keep checking back. But that free class is August 15th, I believe. I don't have the time off the top of my head, but if you click on the link in the video description, you can see the time in your time zone and what date. Now, there is replays available for all of those classes. They show up on the Michael's YouTube channel about, well, usually these classes are on Friday. So if it's a Friday class, it'll show up on Monday. Generally, it's 24 to 48 hours later. Unless it's a Friday, then you got to wait a couple days because it's going to be on that following Monday. I think if you watch live, the quality is better because you're watching it live on Zoom. It seems like when on the recordings, there is some, it does get a little bit pixelated and whatnot, but I always have the time lapses because I record it when I'm designing the project. So those time lapses will be right on my YouTube channel. You can find the one from, I'll show you that project again because it's right into, because I'm doing all of my World Watercolor Month. I've kept in one sketchbook. I've never done that before. I always jump around. I have so many sketchbooks going. It's the propeller one. I have so many sketchbooks going generally, but I like having this all together in one book. And by the way, I used fixative on this. This is water-soluble graphite. I use fixative on it, and it's great. I'm not getting any smudging and I think I'll go through my old sketchbooks because anytime I've used the water-soluble graphite, I've had to tip in a piece of glassine, and then it just kind of interrupts the flow if you're going through the book and you're checking it out. So I'm going to go, it was Krylon workable fixative. It's not very expensive and works great. So just wanted to pass that tip along too. I didn't even notice any terrible darkening. I think some of the pastel, you know what, maybe the sky's a little bit darker than it was before, but it's definitely worth it if you want to be able to have your sketchbook not smear onto the facing page and be able to like kind of have that continuity in your sketchbook when you're flipping through, because I found more and more these last few years I like working in a sketchbook versus loose paper, and because I don't like to frame things. And honestly, I don't really like to sell paintings all that much. It's not really one of my income streams, selling paintings. It's nice when I do sell one every once in a while, but it's not something that, it's just completely, it's like throwing sand in the gears of my machine here, because it just does not flow. It does not flow with everything else that I do. But I don't know, maybe that would be something if I had an assistant or if I had somebody else, you know, working for me, I'd be like, yeah, you can sell these things. But I actually kind of almost rather keep them and then potentially license the work later. I don't know, there's so many different venues you can go down when you have an art career. And I think that a lot of people think it's very limited. Being an artist is limited. It's like, not really. There's so many things you can do, and selling art, I think, is just one way to make a living. I think that's a harder way to make a living, especially selling originals, because you're making one at a time, and sometimes you're making a one of a kind, and so you're not making multiples to kind of even out that design process. The R&D kind of, if you design something is awesome and you make 50 of them, then it's worth that amount of time you've put into the design. But if you're spending the same amount of time on the design and you only sell one of them, then you have to sell it for so much, or you're really limited on how much you can make on that. But anyway, that's my thought on that. And let's look at my list. I have all kinds of things to talk about. So last night we went to go see David Sedaris in Waterville at the Waterville Opera House. What a great venue. I've never, if I have been there before, I don't remember. It would have been when I was a kid. I don't really spend much time in Waterville, but I grew up in China, Maine, which is like two towns over. It's not a city at all. It's a great location, and David Sedaris was awesome. All of his material was like new. It's like for his upcoming book. So I was like, wow, I thought it was all going to be stuff from Happy Go Lucky, which is his most recent book, which isn't my favorite book because it's great, but it is a little bit more rugged than some of his other works that are a little more cheerful. But I listened to so many of his audiobooks this winter. The winters are hard. I have a hard time with the winter, and I get outside in the sun. The dog loves to walk, so I'll walk for like an hour outside in the sun, and I don't like to be cold, so I'm totally bundled up, but I had to put my headphones in, and it's nice to listen to a humorous audiobook, and so that got me through a lot of the winter, and it was nice, and I really fell in love with his work. I think he's a really talented writer, really honest and earnest, and you don't get that very often, and I highly recommend his work anyway. And so we did bring our copy of Happy Go Lucky to have it signed, but it was just such chaos after the show, and the lines were so long, and it was like really unclear where the lines were starting and ending, and I was just like, you know what, we have a long drive, I'm fine, we don't have to wait in line to to get it signed up. Plus I was almost feeling a little intimidated because he will always talk about like these like people he's talked to in line to get their book signed, and he seems to always ask people these like questions, and like he'll talk to these people with really clever answers, and it's like, what if he asked me a question and I don't have a clever answer? I would be so embarrassed. So I was a little bit intimidated, I have to say, to wait in line to get the book signed. So I didn't, and waiting in line is like my least favorite thing. When I went to New York last year to work for Derwent, just like you have to wait in line for everything. It seems like there's like everything is a line, everything is waiting, and it just like I could not live in a big city. It's just too much waiting, too much waiting in line. I need to live my life. I could live my life. I can't be waiting in line. So that was that, but it was great. It was a lot of fun, and I would definitely go back to a show at the Watercolor Opera House. And David Sedaris was wonderful, and yeah, definitely not for everyone. It was funny because I'm like. Because he can be really out there with stuff, and it's like, oh, he definitely cannot be reading his stuff everywhere. I enjoyed it though. I really enjoyed it. And then what else did we have going on? I had a lot going on this week. I took the girls to go see the Barbie movie. I loved it. It was awesome. And I didn't know what I was going to think. I was pretty sure I was going to like it just because just the previews that I saw, I just loved the aesthetic of it. And they did such an amazing job with the set design. I was having nostalgia vibes totally the entire time. The Barbie convertible, the sticker, the mirror was like that mirror sticker, and I was just like whoosh. It was like a whoosh of nostalgia because I love Barbies. I grew up playing with Barbies. My sister grew up playing with Barbies. I'm like 6 years older than my sister. So when I was little, my mom was home a lot, and she would crochet and sew a lot of clothes for my Barbies, and I would just make tons of Barbie furniture and tons of Barbie clothes, and like I would turn coffee tables and stuff into these big Barbie mansions. And then my sister got the dream house when she was old, like, I don't know, probably 6 or so. So that was fun to play with. And I just love Barbies. I love to sketch the outfits and make up new outfits for them and stuff. And I didn't turn out twisted because of it. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, don't let your kids play with Barbies. But I love Barbies. I was never one for the baby dolls. I did not want a mother. I didn't want to mother things, you know. I wanted to, you know, be older, be chic, be fashionable. And yeah, I love playing with Barbies. My kids enjoyed Barbies. They also had baby dolls. They also had trains. They also had, you know, all of Jackson's old toys, tons of musical instruments, lots of art supplies. So they were able to go wherever they wanted to go. And, you know, I think that's fine. You know, like, kids play with whatever they want to. And I do definitely, like, I remember playing with my Barbies, and I loved the different jobs that they had. And, yeah, I think I don't think there's anything wrong with Barbies. And the movie was great. Not everyone's gonna like it. Some people are up in arms about it. Some people, nobody left the theater when I was there, but some people talked about people leaving the theater and hating it and everything. But I'm like, you know what? If you don't stay to the end of the movie, you know, you can't really critique it. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to make any spoilers, but the outfits, oh my word, the costume design for that movie was chef's kiss, beautiful. I want, except there's one outfit where it's kind of like Eastery that I'm not crazy about, but almost every outfit I want to sew. I've got a bag of fabric over there. I really have to get my tennis dresses sewn before I get too, you know, crazy on new projects, because I spent the whole afternoon on Monday just sorting my upcoming projects, because remember when I did the video and I went through all the stuff I have to review, I took everything off of my review shelves, and I was like, I'm not putting this away. I am not putting it away until I've reviewed it and it has gone in the other room. Well, my floor had a box, it was overflowing, my table was just piles everywhere, and I couldn't work. I was just so overwhelmed. So I got my trusty baskets, you know, the letter. I've shown them before in my Room Forward tours, I think, but they're letter tray baskets, so they're like 9x12 shell baskets from the Dollar Tree, and you can put paper, like you can put 9x12 paper or 8.5x11 paper in it. So I took all of those baskets and I sorted them by project, by video that I had to do, by review, and I just nested them in each other. And I'm gonna take a basket and go, and I've been able to get through a couple baskets already, so that's been great. So I took Monday afternoon and did that, and then what was going on Monday? Oh, so I was doing that Monday afternoon. I don't think I did any filming Monday. And then I'm like, it's so nice outside. I gotta go outside and I'm gonna do my World Watercolor Month on the deck. So I was up on the balcony, and the balcony, whatever you want to call it. It's a really, really high deck off our bedroom. So you're like up in the trees. It's lovely. It's my favorite place to be in the summer. And so I was sitting there painting and my phone rang, and it was my friend Tracy, and she's like, Lindsay, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm just starting my World Watercolor Month project. What's up? And she's like, let's go to dinner. And I'm like, all right, I would love to, but I need at least an hour and a half. I need to do this, and I need to not be a sketchy hobo, because I was like, I was looking like I just spent all afternoon cleaning my studio. It was not pretty. I was like, I gotta do something here, and then I gotta drive to town. So I'm like, I need an hour and a half to do those three things. And so she's like, yeah, no problem. Let's meet at Green Tea at 6. And so it's Monday. I get to Green Tea. I'm the first one there. Somehow I am the first one there. And they're all in town, and I'm the first one there. I couldn't believe it. And they were closed. And so I'm like, oh no, we need a plan B. So luckily Las Plapas was right away. It was this little Mexican restaurant that was like just right down the road. So I'm like, let's do Las Plapas. I went over there. They had outdoor seating. I'm like, oh, we have got to sit outside. And so we got a table outside, and we spent 3.5 hours there just like eating and talking and having a great time. And it was wonderful. It was just great to just unwind with my girls and just chill out, especially because Tracy's going back to Florida, and probably by now. She's probably on her way back now. Though they were talking about getting together again during the week, but it's like I had so much going on. I'm like, I couldn't commit to another outing there, because I just had too much going on. And then Tuesday, I went up to Dover, Foxcroft, Guilford area, because I was meeting my friend Angela, who had some gouache she wanted to give me. She had bought the full range of the Daniel Smith gouache, and she knew I was doing a review on Daniel Smith gouache. I bought the mixing set and a tube of burnt umber, and she's like, do you want half pans of these colors I have? And I'm like, that would be great. That way I can show the full range. And so that was really fun. I did this sketch of a covered footbridge at Kiwanis Park. I actually really like the way the spread came out, because it was they're kind of all cohesive on this page. But I did a sketch of that footbridge there, and then I took photos of the big covered bridge. And I'm like, I'm gonna walk over the bridge. This is cool. It's huge. It's over this river, the Piscataquis River. And I got like halfway through the bridge, and I'm like, this is really creepy. If you've seen the show Nosferatu, was it Stephen King or Joe Hill? Oh my gosh. Was it Stephen King or his son? I can't remember. But anyway, there's this girl, and she's got this magic motorcycle, and she drives it over the bridge, and she goes, and she'll pop out somewhere else. She can just think of like the place she wants to go, and she goes over the bridge in her motorcycle, and and when she comes out the other side of the bridge, that's where she is. And like, so I went through the bridge, and I was getting major Nosferatu vibes, and I was kind of a little freaked out. And then it started pouring, and I am there in my convertible. It's like an hour north, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's beautiful out. I'm riding around in my convertible. It's the day to do that. And it just starts like raining huge, juicy raindrops, and I'm like, I'm out running it. I see blue skies. I'm like, running it. No, I was not out running it. I'm like, then it got worse. I'm like, okay, pull over, put the top off, to top up, and I kept it up for about 5 minutes, and it slowed down, and I was able to put the top down. And then I was completely drenched, but by the time I got home, it was so hot and breezy that I was able to dry off. And so we were going to go see the Barbie movie. Actually, we were originally going to see the Barbie movie Monday night, but Lila had other plans, so she said, how about Tuesday? But I've been like so busy that I've just been like skimming text instead of reading the entire text, which is so like, oh my God, what is my attention span? If I can't even read a text message, I've got to skim it. And she's like, well, we're going to the movies tonight, right? I'm like, oh, Tuesday. Because Jason and I were going to meet up in town, because I had to drive by his work coming back from Dover Foxcroft. So he's like, that's fine, Lindsay. Just, we can go out to dinner some other night. That's fine. So we get home, and we go to check to see what the availability for tickets. They were sold out. All the showings of Barbie Tuesday night were sold out. So we bought tickets for Wednesday so that we would be all set. And then after we got all dolled up for Barbie, we looked amazing. It was we understood the assignment, as the kids say. And it was a lot of fun. It was a great movie. We had a good time. And then we went to an ice cream parlor, and I surprised Jason at work with ice cream. I felt bad for not going out to dinner the night before with him, so that was good. And he was wanted to go get ice cream the night before with the girls, but the girls had just door dashed some ice cream, so I kind of took the wind out of his sail. So yeah, so much. The week was packed. The week is packed, you know, and you want to make sure that you're giving your best to everybody you love, and you always feel like you're giving people the leftovers, and I don't like that feeling. I don't want to feel like I'm giving people the leftovers of myself. I want to give my best and give my all, but sometimes you just run out. You know, you just run out, and then it's like, I'm giving my some. I'm just giving my some. I can't give my all. The all is gone. I'm giving my some. Scraping the bottom of the barrel, folks. This is what I have left. But then you get excited over a new thing, and you want to do the new thing, and it's just, it's, you know, what are you going to do? I have no advice. I hope you didn't come here for some life advice, because I don't have any good life advice. So what else? What else? Oh my gosh, you guys, saddest thing ever. Well, not the saddest thing ever, but it's definitely kind of sad. So Lila and Maisie were going to a concert last night as well. They were going to Portland. I can't remember the band they were going to see, but they were getting ready to leave, and Lila finds a little baby mouse under her vehicle, and she's like, Mama, there's a little baby mouse and it's alive. What do we do? And I go, I don't know. Where was it? Because she's like, it was under my car. And there was one under my car at Bry's house the other day. So my sister, she stays with my sister when she works, because her job is pretty close to my sister's house, about an hour south. And she said she had found a baby mouse a few days ago under her car there. And I'm like, I bet a mother laid some babies. I don't even know what's under a car that that a mouse could have babies in, but it must have been warm or something. I don't know, but the mouse had babies there. So we looked under the hood, because once, she has my old van, so I gave my old van to her. And once I had that van up to camp, and I hadn't moved it all week. I just left it. And when I had taken the car to get an oil change and inspection, like the next week, there was like a humongous squirrel nest, like over the motor, and they had chewed on some of the wires, because I guess they make the casings for wires out of soybeans now. And so I'm like, well, let's look under the hood and see if there's a mouse nest under there. And there was no mouse nest under there. There were some pine needles, but there was no like nest. And the pine needles were just kind of where it collects by the windshield part, not like under the motor, where the motor and stuff, all the workings are. So I'm like, well, there's no mouse nest here, but maybe there's a mouse nest underneath. And we're just kind of looking, couldn't really see anything. I don't even know where to look. I am not a car person. So I texted my friend, Teresa, I'm like, and she works in a facility where they make mice. And I'm like, Teresa, look, what do we do? You know, can we feed it? Maisie wants to rehab the mouse. And I'm like, I don't know what sort of a chance a baby mouse has without its mouse mother. And so she's like, well, if you have any kitten milk, then you can feed the mouse kitten milk with a Q-tip. And I'm like, that's a great idea. I don't have any kitten milk. I have soy milk and I have coffee creamer. And there's some cottage cheese with like juicy cottage cheese curd juice stuff. I'm like, probably the cottage cheese juice would be the closest thing, but we couldn't get it to eat because it was just a tiny baby. She said it was about 6 or 7 days old. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try to feed it. And I didn't want to bring the mouse in. It was really hot. I was not really hot, like, you know, it's, 80, maybe 70s, 80, not like, southern United States hot. It was not like gonna cook the mouse or anything, not to be gross, but I just don't want you to think I'm being cruel. It's like, it sucks to be you, mouse, good luck in life. I wasn't being like that. So I got a box and we put the mouse in it. We put some leaves around it so it could crawl out. It was a shallow box. I put it in the woods underneath a piece of plywood that was kind of like, it had air. It could like climb out if it was healthy enough to do so. I'm like, I don't want a mouse in the house. We have cats. That would just be cruel. And plus, I don't want to have mice in my house. So, and I'm like, I feel like this mouse really isn't my responsibility, but on the other hand, it is a creation. It is a creature in this world, and we all have to look out for each other. And, I didn't want the mouse to suffer. This is awful. I was kind of hoping it would just pass peacefully in its sleep. Because I don't know if I'm really committed to mouse rehabilitation, but life gives you hands you something sometimes. You gotta do the best you can. I checked on the mouse this morning, and the mouse has expired. So it makes me with the Monty Python. Oh, this is awful, but it just reminds me of the Monty Python dead parrot skin. The parrot has expired. The parrot is no longer. I can't remember the whole thing, but that's like the first thing that comes in is like the dead parrot skin. Oh, it's horrible to laugh about it. I did feel bad about the baby mouse, but I mean, what kind of life is the mouse gonna have without his mouse mother? And then my friend Teresa's like, I've seen a mouse eat its baby like a burrito. I'm like, wow, what an awful life it is to be a mouse. I'm glad I'm a human. You know, even if you get stressed out and things are gloomy, you know, at least your mother's not gonna eat you. I mean, it could be worse. You know, perspective, friends. Yeah, perspective. And that's what I'll leave you with. So, oh, I forgot to do my Sat Chat disclaimers. So somebody's probably watching this like, Lindsay, are you going to teach me how to, like, craft something? No. I think I've just come so far from the original intent of this channel. There's no more frugal crafting. No, it's expensive. Non-crafting. I don't know. But, oh, I will. Here's a little thing that is kind of interesting. This is the new watercolor set from Paul Rubens. It is the Chomei set. That's how you pronounce it. And that translates to, Chomei translates to super beauty in Chinese. And this is the palette. And this part comes out, it's a really cute palette. The lid comes off really easily if you want to like move it around. This comes out for mixing. Then you've got this whole other space, and it has an overlay, and it has pigment information, and it was, you know, cheap. It was like $25, which is cheap for 24 watercolors. It's sold out currently, but I'm working on a review, and then I will have a review. I'm working on a review, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. No. Working on a review. This is what the color palette looks like. Very much like the Pretty Excellent colors, in my opinion. Some of the color numbers match up, so I'm gonna have to compare them a little bit too. But yeah, so you get that to look forward to. There's so many reviews coming. I have a lot going on, but I'm just gonna pick away at it. You know, it's summer. If I get a good day, I'm gonna go outside. It's actually a beautiful day right now, but I do have to finish up the critique club before I go outside and, you know, bask in the sun. I woke up and I took a shower, and I completely slathered on the sunscreen. That is optimism. Even though you got stuff planned, you put on the sunscreen because you might get to go outside. I did walk the dog. Oh my gosh, and I walked the dog this morning, and we went down the path, and we were walking in the woods because it was too hot. She wanted to go to the ball field and run around. I'm like, it's too hot for you to run around in the sun. And this tree had fallen down in the path. It was like a birch tree. And it was pretty high up, and the dog couldn't jump over it. I could step over it. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to push the tree down. I mean, the tree's already dead. This, you know, sorry about your luck, tree, but, you know. So I pushed the tree down so the dog could jump over it. And the dog jumps over and then sees something, a deer or a squirrel, I don't know, starts barking and pulling, flips me over. I'm like tangled in this tree. I got scratches on the back of my legs. It was a mess, but then we persevered, and we finished up our walk. And yeah, I mean, I think I got through my whole list. I am winning today. I hope you're winning today. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll chit chat with you in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe.